So first things first, I'm going to prep my beautiful model's skin, and I've already cleansed her with some micellar water and toned her with some oil controlling toner. So now I'm going in with some really good, really rich moisturizer. This is Creme Concentre by Embryolisse. Love having this stuff on my kit. It really works for any and all skin types. So I definitely recommend, if you are on the market for moisturizer, check this one out. Michelle's brows have a really nice natural shape, and so to add more density to that shape, I'm going to go in with my It Cosmetics brow pencil in the shade Universal Taupe. This pencil is a really good shade for pretty much every skin tone. I've kept it in my kit for a very long time now, and I've used it for many different skin tones from Caucasian all the way to African American. And so I really do suggest this pencil for anyone who is just looking to, do a little at-home touch-up to your brows and not necessarily go all the way in like I'm about to do with this Dipbrow. So with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow Pomade, I am going to add even more definition to the edges of her brows. So the bottom, defining that line, and also the tail and the top of the brow as well. To make sure her brows are as clean and as straight and curved as possible, I am going underneath her brow, onto her brow bone basically, with some concealer that's 1 to 2 shades lighter than her normal skin tone, and I'm blending that down into her eyelid, and this is also going to serve as the base for our eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to set that concealer to make sure it's not too sticky for when I put the eyeshadow on. So all I'm doing is using my beauty blender to blend out the concealer one last time, and then using a brush to apply translucent setting powder. So now that we have our brows on and our lids primed, it's time to add some color and bring this look to life. So I'm starting with this beautiful green shade out of Urban Decay's Electric palette, and I'm using that all over my crease and just really blending that color in and working that brush to make sure that the edges are faded out the more outward they go. I also like to use a really fluffy brush outside of the one I use to put the color in the crease. I'll take a clean, fluffy blending brush and use that around the edges to try and help soften out the eyeshadow as well. It's a really neat trick. Try it out if you have trouble blending your crease colors. Next, I'm going to apply a darker shade of green right on top of the lighter shade. And this is just going to help give the crease a little bit more dimension. And so I'm going to work it in the exact same way and use a fluffier brush to help blend the edges. Now for the glitter, I am using the NYX glitter adhesive and just a brush that I got from Michael's, I think, just to apply that adhesive onto the lid. I chose a pretty cheap brush just because it's glue and I don't, want to mess my brush up. So after that, I'm taking the same brush and using that to apply the glitter. The name of the glitter is called Magic Dragon by Lait Cosmetics. It's a really pretty green, kind of mermaidy color. And when you look at it from a certain angle, it looks kind of bluish purple. Now to smoke out the crease, I'm going to add a black eyeshadow and I'm going to blend that out. And then after the black, I decided I wanted it a little bit more richer, warmer, I should say, and also darker. So I'm going to add in this really dark reddish brownish tone. That's just a really rich color, and I really think it brought the eyes to life in addition to the glitter. And to add the vibrancy back into the green, I'm going over it with the Urban Decay shade that we placed down in the very beginning. Next, I'm going to apply just a pure orange concealer, and this is by MAC, and I'm applying this under her eyes to cancel out any of the blue or the purple, you know, that just naturally comes with our under eye areas. You may not necessarily need to do this on yourself, but I like to do it just as kind of insurance to make sure that in addition to the foundation, you know, that orange concealer is definitely going to cover up any darkness. Then I'm going to go over that with my foundation, and I'm just using a flat brush just to kind of work that into the skin. And then afterwards, I'm going to take my beauty blender and really go around blending and pressing the product into the skin. So now for my favorite part, I am going to contour her with a concealer that is a lot of shades darker than her normal skin tone. How I select the colors that I use to contour is I kind of look at the person's shoulders, I look at their forearms, and really try to get an understanding of like what their skin tone is that's closest to the sun, you know, or that tends to get hit by the sun first, or that tends to tan first. And so usually the shoulders tan first. So when I looked at her shoulders, the color that I'm applying on her face was actually the color that's similar to the tannest parts of her body. And again, I'm using my beauty blender to help me blend out that contour. Love, love, love these beauty blenders, guys. They are a saving grace, and definitely use them wet. If you have one, make sure that you always wet it thoroughly so that it blends like magic. For her blush, I'm using a really pretty corally pink color by Senna Cosmetics, and I'm taking a clean beauty blender and placing that on her cheeks in light dabbing motions until I get the pigmentation I want. And I'm also using my finger, because it's a cream, to kind of warm that product up and press it into the skin a little more. Pressing into the skin, guys, is I think one of the mottos that I live by. It's very important that the makeup is actually going into the skin instead of, you know, just sitting on top and potentially slipping off later. So far I've applied all creams and liquids to her face. I haven't applied any powders, because once you apply powder, that makes it final. You know, it makes it difficult to correct anything once you've set powder on top of cream. So I'm going to go under her eyes one last time with my beauty blender and just kind of blend out the concealer and the foundation that's under her eyes. And I'm going to set that with my Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to set the rest of her face with that powder as well. For her lips, I thought that pink would be a nice touch, so I'm starting off by lining her lips, and I'm overlining her top lip just to make it appear a little fuller, using the Boldly Bare lip liner by MAC. And then I'm going over top of that with a matte liquid lipstick from the Glamatory called Bows and Bays. So to complete this look, I like to call this the finishing touches. It's curling the lashes, adding some drama to her lower lash line, and adding in purple as well to give it that extra pop. Applying false eyelashes and just giving her one more quick swipe of the brows and a final run through of my beauty blender. And that is the final look, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. Comment, subscribe, do everything you gotta do to make sure that you can keep tuning in, because I have many more videos coming for you guys. Take care.